Good morning. It's Sunday morning, and about an hour ago I released a video on making or remaking this, which is a new and improved sandpaper cutter. I made this project originally 6 years ago, and here's what's left of the original right here. And I went over the problems in that, and the main one was that the gap here was, I don't know what I was thinking when I did this. The gap is too frigging small. So this one solves that. Bigger gap. Also, the cutter rolls back out of the way, or forwards out of the way, so it's not impeding the slippage of the paper through the gap. Also, it doesn't need any washers on the end like the original did, because these cuts actually stop. This is another innovation or improvement, I guess you could say. So I like that. I like that when I can do stuff like that. You know, when I can come up with a clever solution that eliminates parts usually or other complications. So there's that. And then, okay, I posted this and I knew it was coming. I knew there'd be comments from people saying, well, why don't you just, fold the paper over and cut it with a knife or something else? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that this is in the drawer where the sandpaper is, and all I need to do is build this one time, like I did with that one 6 years ago, and every time I need to cut a sheet of sandpaper, I can pull this thing out with the sandpaper, cut it, and put it back in. This is not used for anything else, unlike a knife or some other thing. And that's the biggest benefit with a specially made tool or jig like this. You're not going to be using it for some other thing, therefore it's not going to leave the place where it's supposed to be. Okay, so probably another comment that I'm going to get, because I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's coming, is why would you want to cut a sheet of sandpaper up into this size square or rectangle, or specifically this size, and why would you want to make it precise? Which this thing obviously excels at. First of all, if you have one of those older palm sanders that clamps onto just an ordinary piece of sandpaper, these things are handy to have. This is exactly the size that you need for that. So this cuts it for that. Also, when I designed and built this sanding block here, it uses this size of sandpaper as well. Exactly that. You fold it up onto the base thusly, and you slip this thing on, and it holds it on there. Beautiful. It's exactly the right size for that. The other thing is, this is the absolute best size paper for doing hand sanding. You can fold this up in 3, and I'll show you how to do that now. I'll move the camera in so you can get a closer look, so I won't get any complaints about that. And what you do is you fold it over like a letter into 3s, and what you wind up with is a piece like this. Now, you can be a little bit more careful with it and not overlap like that, but it winds up being the same thing. And what that gives you is it gives you a good size to hold, and that tripling of the thing, that means it's not going to slide back and forth. I saw a video, I think it was a couple years ago, from Steve Ramsey showing how to fold sandpaper, I think it was. And what he did was he cut the sheet in half using the old knife trick or over the table type edge thing, and then folded that in half again, so that you wound up with a piece. Okay, it was a piece like this. So it was this size, but it was folded over. Not putting down Steve in any way, shape, or form here, but painters do that kind of stuff. And like I said before, painters, there's nothing wrong with painters. Everyone should have 2 or 3, tied up in their backyard. I don't fold sandpaper like that, mainly because it's too big, first of all. And when you have it folded in half like that, you got 2 slippery edges against each other like that. So it's going to wrinkle up all over the place. It's a very sloppy way to like I said, all due respect to Steve, but that's not the way. This is the way. Okay, so you fold it like that, and that gives you this surface to use. When you use that out, you flip it over, you use this surface, and then when that wears out, you open it up and you expose this surface. And none of this moves, which is really awesome. Okay, the other way you can fold it is to fold it long ways, and this will give you like more detail. So you do that in exactly the same way as you did before, fold it over, and that gives you a longer, narrower piece, which you can get into tighter places. And you know, you hold it like this, you got your these two fingers, if you still have them, and if you haven't cut them off. And those curl around the end of the piece like that. And then your first two fingers here, not including your thumb, go up here and they apply the pressure, you see? And then your thumb is what holds it in place. So you get in there and you sand back and forth, and you got total control. And then when the front of it wears out, you move your fingers back, you get the area right behind it, right there. And then, as you work your way towards the middle, then you can flip it around, and you do the other side, and then you flip it over, and you do the same thing again, and then you open it up, and voila, there you go. You got all this, and you're not wasting it. You're using every square inch of the sandpaper, and it's not frustrating because it's sliding all over the place and it's too big to hold on to. So yeah, that's the skinny on the sandpaper, in case you were wondering. You don't want to be a painter, you want to be a woodworker. This is the way. You make this simple jig, okay? Against all your better judgment, you make this simple jig, you keep it in the drawer where the sandpaper is, and you pull it out and you cut your sandpaper up like this, and you'll be a happy camper. I made that video yesterday because, okay, originally it was going to be this video. This is my new vise, and I've been working on this now for the past 3 weeks, and I haven't bowled ahead like I normally do. I want to have plans for this, and there was some other thing that I needed to do before I get the thing ready. And I didn't want to push myself to get it done for this weekend. I could have, but I didn't. So I decided to make the video on that thing right there. That was something I was meaning to do for the past 3 years. Like occasionally I'll sit down and I'll make a list of things that I should do or redo. Like if there's an older video with a project that I did the first time that was fairly successful. A good example of that was the edge banding trimmer that I redid. That didn't do well. The original video got over 1 million views of me standing there, umming and ahhing, and that thing there, which is very concise and very well put together, I don't know, 60,000 views, whatever. Anyway, so maybe it'll pick up views over time. Maybe it just doesn't look appealing like the other one did. Who knows? Anyway, so I make a list every once in a while of things that I can do, and this was on the list, so I decided to do it yesterday afternoon. It was 2:30 when I decided to do that. I came out, because I didn't want to have Sunday come and go without a project, basically. I came out at 2:30, I cut out all the parts, I put the thing together, and I went in and edited it. It was all done before 5:30, so that's excellent. I really like that. Anyway, so this one will be next weekend, for sure, for certain, because the vise itself is done. All I need to do is mount it. I have a special idea for mounting it, and you'll see that in the video. But the way this thing works is it's a quick release, slides in, adjusts like that, and you tighten it up, and it's really strong. It's super strong. It's stronger than I thought it would be. So, really good project. Take the whole thing out completely if you want to clean it up or whatever. Slides back in, very fast to adjust, very solidly holds the things you need, within reason, of course, because it's still just a wooden vise, but man, it's really capable. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this one up here. I think I've said enough.
How much?
69 cents.
And the gas?
Y'all getting any rain up your way?
What way would that be?
I seen you was from Dallas.
is a necessity of yours, where I'm from.